¿Qué onda, vatos locos, damas y caballeros? It's your boy Dave in the 702 coming back at you for the Thursday night tailgate talk. Week number 7, Drew. Are you ready for it? Shout out to my co-host Drew Evo, all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish. Drew Evo, good to have you, brother. What's going on, man?
Nothing much.
Yeah, I hope you had a great birthday, Drew. Interesting time for birthdays. You know, two 49er greats shared birthdays on the same weekend as I did. Let's see, Steve Young and I think Jerry Rice, too. Both Libras, man. Two great NFL players from the San Francisco 49ers. I know that the Thursday night game is in action right now. And it looks like the score is a blowout, right, Drew? 26-3 over the Saints. Shout out to Mom Food, guys. Mom Food has the killer channel, and she's first in the chat today. So I won't do my usual. Go follow my homegirl, Mom Food Planet Things. But I do need to figure out how to make you a mod on my streaming software. I want to add Mom Food to our mod list. Drew, do you know what today is, Drew? It's an anniversary. You're never going to guess. It's got to do with Major League Baseball history. It's got to do with the city of San Francisco. And 35 years ago today, your boy was a little league ball player. All right. Lived in San Francisco. You have any idea what Major League Baseball 35 years ago today?
What, Barry Bonds made his professional debut?
35 years ago today at Candlestick Park, the Battle of the Bay. And we may... Well, I don't think so. We could have had a Yankees versus Mets potentially this year, but no disrespect to all the Dodgers fans. 35 years ago today, Drew, the biggest earthquake that ever hit Northern California struck during the World Series. And I was just, like I said, man, I was getting ready to watch my favorite team, the San Francisco Giants, and the Oakland A's, who could be coming to Vegas, supposedly. They just blew up the stadium. The Oakland A's they had the greatest team ever. They had Ricky Henderson, Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Dennis Eckersley. I mean, it shook the world, Drew. And let me just show you a quick picture of what it looked like 35 years ago today. Like I said, I was just a middle school kid playing baseball every day. Living baseball was my life, Drew. And 35 years ago today, that bridge, the Bay Bridge, collapsed, forcing people to figure out how to get to each other's stadiums, because that Bay Bridge connected Oakland and San Francisco. So people that actually had World Series tickets had to figure out looping the entire Bay Area or taking a ferry across to the other side. It devastated the Bay Area It made permanent changes to the landscape, Drew. That's what happened 35 years ago today. Shout out to everybody joining us. SB Mom Food, appreciate you guys in the chat a little bit. Sports history, 35 years ago today. I got some very, very interesting, great breaking news, Drew. You've probably heard about it. Big trades. Speaking of Oakland, the Raiders. Speaking of Las Vegas, where I live now, Las Vegas Raiders, they let him go. He's been silently asking for a big trade, and Davante Adams is no longer here in Las Vegas. He's probably going to be putting up his beautiful mansion, and he is now wearing the color green, and the Jets sure could have used him last week, Drew, but apparently he's sleeping over at Aaron Rodgers' house. Aaron Rodgers, who played for Cal Berkeley. Davante Adams, who played for Fresno State. Two guys that are best of buds. And Davante Adams is sleeping at Aaron Rodgers' house, catching up on the playbook. What did you think of that trade?
I said this on my TikTok. And I think it's more of like a last-ditch effort. Does it work? I don't know. I'm very not sure about it. Like, they're 2-4, which is not really out of it. You're in the division, probably like a game or two out. I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. You know, like, hopefully they can make better play. They can make some noise, but I don't know. I just don't know about it.
Well, Drew, speaking of the Raiders, and we've got our fair share of Las Vegas Raiders, Oakland Raiders fans here, just Raiders fan base that come and show up here occasionally in the chat, Drew. And I want to reference, like I said, I played baseball. I had the great. How do I put this into words, man? One of the greatest things I can brag about in life, and I probably annoyed a million people, including my kid brother who recently came to Las Vegas. So it was like, he was busting balls. He's like, will you shut the F up with that story? Well, I had the great pleasure of playing baseball and football against one of the NFL's greatest quarterback in the history of the world. And that's because, like I said, I grew up in San Francisco, and his school was one of my division conference rivals, and we are just a year apart. I'm talking none other than welcome everybody to Las Vegas, the brand new minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, none other than Chucky Brady. That's right, Chucky Brady, Drew. He's even got the haircut to fit the team. Come to think of it, Drew, that matches your beard color. Chucky Brady right there, new minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Not only a broadcaster now, he's accomplished all that, Drew. And I will not be living anywhere near the guy, even though I played. Did you know he was a catcher in baseball? That's also what I played. I was a catcher. And of course, he was played football for Sarah. He was the quarterback for Sarah High School in San Mateo, California. Now minority owner of the Raiders. He says he's going to turn the entire franchise around, and Drew, I believe it. I believe it that he will be part of that rebuilding process. Speaking of rebuilding, you and I talked about this. The Raiders got one more star player. I'm talking about Crosby, and they're saying that Crosby, he's keeping it low key. But from what I hear, Crosby wants to go. 49ers have the cap space, and they are on the block. They've made it perfectly clear to everybody involved that Crosby would not mind potentially playing for the 49ers. And I want to know what you think. Where will he end up, or will he be traded? He made some very big statements today saying that he is not here in Las Vegas to rebuild, that he is a winner and he wants to win. And obviously, you being the most talented defensive end player, you want to be on a winning team, Drew. Could you guys use him? Do you guys have the money for Crosby?
There's rumors that we're going after him. There's rumors that we're going after Myles Garrett from Cleveland.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, Sonteo Media says, Feliz cumpleaños. Shout out to Sonteo Media. Appreciate that. I'm sure Drew appreciates that very much. It was his birthday, actually, yesterday. But this potential, this is like tremendous news. These two guys on the same team would just be like the worst nightmare quarterback could ever have. I don't think Crosby's going to make it out of, I think he's going to be traded. Where? I don't know. Did you know that the 49ers and Raiders have a history of not working trade deals? Apparently, Al Davis, he'll stick it to the Niners. He hates the Niners. And it don't matter how much. He's actually given a player away for less money to the Chicago Bears rather than give it to, former rival, Babe Rich rival, the 49ers. So I would love to have him if he goes to the Eagles, if he goes to any better team. Good for him. But the outlook for the Raiders, we've talked about it. You think it's a rebuild season completely at this point, right?
Yeah, it probably is. Like, you're clearly not winning division. There's 3 good teams in that division. I say the Broncos are pretty good. They got really good defense and everything. Chargers got a good team and everything. Kansas City's always going to be there. So, yeah, I think you're rebuilding. I think that they're going to have to draft a quarterback.
100%. And there's probably going to be quite a handful of teams that are going to be looking for a top college draft pick, right, for a quarterback position. But like I said, shout out to Brady, who is now an official minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. There's no Oakland in it anymore. There's no Oakland in front of the A's. Did you hear the Tampa Bay Rays have nowhere to play? And now they're talking about the Rays could be the Oakland Rays just until they get their stadium. I mean, shit's messed up in baseball right now, Drew. Oh, it's a hot mess. The Oakland Rays? Yeah. Who knows?
I clearly change that team name if they're going anywhere else. And I think they can wind up I think we may be getting rid of the fucking Rays eventually if they can't find nothing. I think I don't know. Like,
Well, I thought they've got a stadium supposedly being built, and it's going to be ready in 3 years. So they don't have the money to rebuild the stadium roof in Tampa. So apparently, I didn't know that playing baseball in an open field in Florida because of thunderstorms is an absolute no. Which is why the Marlins Stadium is enclosed. It's why Tampa Bay Stadium was enclosed. I don't know. Montreal's looking for a baseball team.
I think they're gonna wind up. I think they're gonna wind up sharing fields with the Marlins then.
Yeah,
Because I think it will be wise for them to keep a team in Tampa. But I think eventually they're gonna try to make a team in Vegas. If it's not the A's, could be the Expos.
Yeah, it could be Montreal. So going back to football, Drew, obviously this week is huge. Even though this is not the Sunday main game at Sunday night evening, we got a replay of the San Francisco 49ers versus the Chiefs Super Bowl last year. The 49ers have lost 6 out of 7 against Kansas City Chiefs. They've lost 4 in a row, 2 regular and 2 Super Bowl appearances. And naturally, the pundits, the NFL analysts are going nuts this week talking about, Purdy versus Mahomes, the guy who's done it already, the guy who's gotten the job done more than once. And the comparisons, because Purdy is having, even though the season does not reflect it, 3-3, Purdy's having a substantially better year. But that all means nothing come Sunday, Drew, as I hear that the 49ers, they're playing the home. I believe we're playing them in Santa Clara, which is great. And this is what they've been doing. Well, apparently, obviously we're very concerned about the referee situation on this game because, as most people know, and don't be blind, Kansas City fans, but the referees always seem to be favoring Kansas City. I mean, look here, they even disrespect everybody else, and they don't even hide it anymore. They just flat out wear Kansas City Chiefs hats in the audience there. Another thing that they're doing is that they apparently the Chiefs requested the 49ers to paint their end zone this color here, Drew. Now that's a misspelling, and I think they're going to have to go back before Sunday and fix that because that obviously does not spell the Chiefs. That spells something completely different. But they try to get one over on us right there. Let's talk about quarterback rankings before we go into our picks, Drew, because like I said, everybody's going nuts trying to debate where Purdy fits in. Is he a top 5 quarterback? Is he a top 10? We've got some people saying he's top, but even though his offensive numbers, and I'll put some of those stats, he's doing much better than Mahomes this particular season. And Mahomes has found a way to keep winning. They're 5-0, second only to the Vikings, who are undefeated. Are they both 5-0, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Drew, they've got Lamar Jackson as number 1 for power rankings and quarterback. Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy comes in number 3. Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield's having a surprisingly great year. The rookie Jaden Daniels having an incredible year. CJ Stroud at number 7. Jordan Love at number 8. Jared Goff at number 9. And Sam Darnold of the Minnesota Vikings, a former San Francisco backup quarterback, as number 10. Looking at this chart, are you surprised Mahomes isn't in this one, according to Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports?
Not really, but the one thing is, I think CJ Stroud should be number 1.
Interesting enough. If you guys are listening here, if you'd like to drop your number 1 quarterback or your top 3 at least, put it in the chat right now. Brock Purdy is doing fantastic, except under pressure. And the Minnesota Vikings, with the man coverage, Minnesota Vikings repeated the success that Kansas City Chiefs continually have against San Francisco 49ers is man coverage and playing that against Brock Purdy and the blitz. And under pressure, Brock Purdy is quite awful. I think he's coming in at 33 in the NFL under that type of coverage, man coverage. When it's against zone coverage, he's leading at number 1. And that just, begs the question. Kansas City Chiefs going to play the same game and continue to press them to make bad choices and see if they could force over some turnovers. It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a hell of a game, Drew. Like I said, he's 33 when under pressure. Nobody does it better than Kansas City and we'll get to that game when we get to our picks. But even though Brock Purdy is up there, he's up against his nemesis, his arch nemesis. Reminds me a lot of boxing, Drew. We just had the 2 Russians, light heavyweight unification for undisputed. And it don't matter that Bivol was undefeated if he can't beat Better Be Of. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter. What does that matter? Shout out to Wally Coyote just joining us in the chat. We're about to get into our picks. So, once again, Drew, these quarterback rankings, any objections? You think number one should be?
Yeah, C.J. Stroud should be number one.
Yeah, Texans have a great game. I think Texans are playing the Green Bay Packers. That should be a great game. Not sure if I feel Lamar Jackson is a big playmaker, but he also had a rough start to the season.
I put Jared Goff at number 2, and I put Josh Allen at number 3. I even put Baker at number 4.
All having great seasons. All right, let's get to our picks of the week. Week number 7, Drew. Obviously, New Orleans and Denver. New Orleans, a big setback, right? Obviously, what are they losing to right now? Let me look at the score again. 26-3 as their quarterback, and now they're under that replacement quarterback. Just been a hot mess. They can't get Derek Carr back soon enough, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's go to that first game again in the UK, in England, London, now becoming a hotbed for the NFL traveling teams. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the New England Patriots, Drew. That game starts very early on the West Coast. It starts at 6:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m. And the Jaguars favored by 6. Are they going to pull out? Are they going to get another win?
Yeah, I'll take the money line on that.
That's surprising. You know what? Sorry to my good friend Johnny Savage, but I think they're going to have another loss on their notch. But you think you'll take the money line on that one? All right. Supposedly I hear they're not flying in. I guess they didn't fly in until today, so they're going to have a little bit of jet lag to deal with. Perhaps we'll see. Not too much. All right, guys. We'll go on to the 10:30 game. Drew and I disagree on that one. 10 a.m. games. Detroit Lions versus the red hot undefeated Minnesota Vikings. This is a great game, Drew. This one is very close. DraftKings got this game at just negative 1.5 favorite for the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm going to take, and what's the spread?
Just Detroit Lions are plus 1.5 and Minnesota Vikings negative 1.5. So the Vikings are favored to win by less than a field goal, which is not possible. 2 points is possible.
I'm going to take the Detroit Lions with the plus 1.5.
Interesting. You just mentioned your high praise for Jared Goff and Sam Darnold, obviously having a great season, but you think Detroit Lions are going to get this conference game? Yeah. All right. I would love to see Minnesota finally lose a game, Drew. I'm going to go with you on that one. Detroit Lions with the upset and a very narrow margin, maybe a field goal or a touchdown. All right, at 10 a.m., Philadelphia Eagles. Drew, you guys, give me the Philadelphia Eagles rundown right now. You guys are trying to make some hot trades as well, right, against the New York Giants.
Yeah, I'll look at it like this. I really think that we need to improve a little. I think this is the week where the Eagles offense wakes up. I'm really surprised that the Eagles defense is ranked 11th overall in the league. So I really think it's time that the Eagles defense wakes up, that the Eagles offense wakes up. And they had some time together. I think they're going to wake up. And I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm thinking it's going to be 35-17 Eagles. And I'm going to take the spread on this.
All right, Drew, obviously you're going to be looking forward to Giants at 2-4. This seems very, very easy to call. That you guys are going to improve the 4-2. Now, your only thing you should be concerned about is what the Commanders do this weekend. If the Commanders fall to 4-3 and you guys move up to 4-2, would you guys theoretically be tied in first place? Who's going to be in
well,
first
we'll
place?
be up.
You'll be up. Looks like the week to do it. Right on. All right, let's go on to... Well, I didn't make my pick for that. Yeah, for me, it's an easy pick. The Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Okay, Tennessee Titans versus Buffalo Bills. That game's also at 10 a.m. this Sunday. This is a huge margin, Drew. Josh Allen just picked up Amari Cooper. I forgot to mention red hot trades. Amari Cooper going to the Buffalo Bills, another offensive weapon for Josh Allen. DraftKings has him as a favorite by 9.5 points. Do they cover the spread, Drew? Do they win by a touchdown and a field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other team, Tennessee Titans, are awful, god awful. Now, the over on that is 41 points, Drew, if you're interested in that. You think that this will be a high-scoring game where the Bills will be able to maybe score 30-plus and Titans 10 points?
Yeah, I will look at the over on this one. I might even do a parlay on over-unders.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills will definitely cover the spread. That or potentially this game could be resulting in over 41 points. I like that too, man. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns. Two teams from Ohio, bitter rivals, a 10 a.m. game. Cleveland Browns obviously not having a good season. Cincinnati Bengals are favored by 5.5 points, Drew. Do you agree with that? Do you cover the spread there?
No, I take the money line.
All right. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to cover the spread on that one easily. And what do you think they're going to do with Cleveland Browns as quarterback, Drew, Deshaun Watson?
I don't know what they're going to do yet. I think they're probably going to give him more game and they might bench him.
Highest paid quarterback in the NFL, isn't he? Houston Texans. Oh, man. This is going to be a good game. Drew, you have C.J. Stroud. You were talking high praise about C.J. Stroud versus Jordan Love. This is going to be a great game. Green Bay Packers are favored by just 3 points. I'm going to have to disagree with that. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, hello. Shout out to Kit and Matilda joining us in the chat. I've seen her in other chats, Drew. Shout out to her. Welcome to the chat. Now let's take a look at this game, Drew. Houston, Texas, CJ Stroud. You're singing high praises for him. This is a very important game. Who do you got in this game?
I actually am going to take them. I'm going to take the spread with Green Bay.
Green Bay. All right, let me just look at the rankings in their division. Packers are 4-2. Now the NFC North is kind of red hot. Wow. Vikings at 5-0. Packers in last place, but 4-2 with a winning record, playing essentially better football than the 49ers. Bears are 4-2. The Lions are 4-1. Packers need to win this. Packers really need to win this, Drew. Again, who do you have?
I'm going to pick the Packers. I'm going to take the -3.
Interesting. And let me just quickly look at the Texans' record. Yeah, that's the NFC North is a pretty hot division right now. And the Texans are in first place at 5-1. Wow. All right. Let's move on, guys. Thank you guys. If you're listening in the chat, appreciate you guys so much. Seattle Seahawks almost did a number on the 49ers. I mean, they fought valiantly, but they've lost 3 in a row, Drew, and they're playing the Atlanta Falcons. And the Falcons, because of losing 3 in a row, hey, they're favored. Atlanta Falcons are favored here by -3. The Seattle Seahawks lose 4 in a row. They went from just being in first place last week before playing the Niners to being on the verge of losing 4 in a row.
I'm picking the Atlanta Falcons at home. I think they're a lot. I think Seattle's secondary is going to get scored on. So I'm picking the Atlanta Falcons to win. I already did my parlay for this week.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Parlay. I did a 4-game parlay.
Let me just quickly look. It behooves the 49ers for Seattle to continue to lose. They're the closest competitor in the NFC West. They would fall to 3-4. I also have, I'm on board with you, Drew. I think Seahawks lose to the Falcons this week. And the Falcons are playing great football, pretty damn good football. They're in first place at 4-2. They would improve to 5-2. And the Seahawks would fall to, 3-4 just from being in first place. Wow. All right. Moving on. Carolina Panthers, still awful as always. Drew's walked away or he's had a Skype issue, guys. So bear with me. I'm solo for the moment. But Carolina Panthers at 1:00 versus the red hot Washington Commanders. We talked about the quarterback rankings. And the only rookie on this entire panel is Washington Commanders' Jaden Daniels, playing amazing football for a rookie quarterback, obviously. Carolina Panthers, god-awful. Washington Commanders, a -8 favorite. And the over on this game is 51.5 points. That's a lot of points, considering Carolina, I don't think, can put up that many points. The under 51.5. Commanders, I think, are going to win this game easily by at least 9 points, 10 points or more. So I picked them to cover the spread. And I have to tell you guys, from watching Washington Commanders last year to drafting the right guy and playing as well as they're playing, it's really been fun watching the Washington Commanders. I don't think anybody really expected them to be doing so well this season. I personally have been enjoying their rise. They're number 1 in the NFC East. They're just ahead of Drew at 4-2. Now, honestly, when Drew comes back, he needs these Commanders to lose this game. I think they're going to win. That would put the Commanders, if they win, at 5-2. Eagles would improve to 4-2, still trailing the Commanders. Now, should the Commanders lose, damn, good for Drew, the Eagles. He thinks that he'd be ahead of the Commanders at that point. So that obviously Drew's got a vested interest this week in the Commanders losing. And again, they are favored by a -8-point spread right there. That game's at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. Wow, that's going to be a game I'll be interested in tuning into. How do you guys watch your NFL? Are you guys watching highlights? Do you guys have one of these NFL packages? Do you have potentially one of these devices that lets you watch every game? Do you have the NFL package? I mean, put it in the chat. Let me know how you guys are watching. I'm going to take a shot every time you say spread. Oh, okay, Ken. I don't have any tequila, but please feel free to drink a shot of tequila, vodka, or whatever you're enjoying at the crib. We love girls that we can take to, the sports bar on Sunday here. Obviously, my wife is one of them that you can watch or enjoys cooking her husband some fancy, hors d'oeuvres for Sunday football at home. So thank you guys for joining us in the chat. Appreciate you. I'm waiting for Drew to come back. Meanwhile, I'm going to move on to like we said, we talked a lot about the Las Vegas Raiders. They'll be playing the Rams this Sunday. And the Raiders are potentially they just lost Devontae Adams, one of the best receivers in the entire NFL. On the same week that's announced, obviously, this is tremendous news. And guys, this is not the haircut Tom Brady is rocking. Obviously, I'm joking here. This is Tom Brady with the Chucky haircut, the perfect bowl cut by Chucky. But it's rumored and speculated that Tom Brady is already shopping for a mega mansion in Summerlin here in Las Vegas, one of the most exclusive neighborhoods, home to celebrities galore, including Mark Wahlberg lives in Summerlin now. Speaking of celebrities in Las Vegas, while I wait for Drew to come back, the neighborhood that I moved to, guys, here in Las Vegas, it's really, really nice. It's one of the very first luxury neighborhoods that that you'll see in Las Vegas alongside the freeway. It's called Southern Highlands. And there was a shooting midweek that almost cost the life of a celebrity. And I'm in utter disbelief. There have been a lot of car burglaries in this neighborhood. There's a lot of fancy cars. And this is a major city. I came from a major city. I came from a gang-infested neighborhood as a child. I mean, I've seen crime. And when you look at the places, like what it looks like in comparison to a major urban city like San Francisco or Oakland, and then you look at where I live now, and to think that somebody got shot, a celebrity was shot midweek and almost was clinging to life. I'm talking about Ozzy, a famous guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train guitarist, was shot in my neighborhood this week 3 times, walking his dog. Now, when I first heard about it in the morning, I'm like, this couldn't have happened in my neighborhood. This is god-awful news. This is awful. It turns out he was shot at 2:30 in the morning. And the reason why I brought up car burglaries, guys, I'm not going to fault people who have sleeping issues or whatnot, and they decide that they want to take their dog for a walk at 2:30. You should have the right in this country to walk your dog at whatever time you want and feel safe. You should be able to feel safe amongst your neighbors in your community. You should feel that you're entitled to walk at any time if you want to go for a jog or whatnot. And by the way, Floyd Mayweather lives in this neighborhood. Drew, I'm talking about really quickly while you were gone. Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist was shot in my neighborhood, I believe Tuesday. Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train guitarist, lives in my neighborhood, shot 3 times at 2:30 in the morning walking his dog. People are like, why is he walking his dog? Well, that's beside the point. Well, Drew, it turns out there's not a lot of information being put out by the Las Vegas Police Department or the news. They don't know. But because of my Ring app, the community, everyone has a Ring camera. They have a little app and people talk on there. Well, it turns out tons of my neighbors said that he was walking the dog and interrupted a car burglary, which this neighborhood has been getting a lot of car thefts. People are stealing luxury cars out of this neighborhood. Well, I guess he intervened in a car break-in and he was shot. So, yeah, left for dead. But luckily, God willing, he survived and survived 3 gunshots. Yeah, definitely, Wally Coyote. Yeah, we got mentally unstable. Well, we've got a lot of people, opportune criminals here in Las Vegas that will just go into decent-looking neighborhoods, nice neighborhoods. Like I said, Floyd Mayweather lives in the same neighborhood, same zip code, and you got people trying to steal all kind of shit at all time. And prayer hands. He's okay. He's gonna be all right. But it was very, very shocking, Drew. All right, Drew. While you were gone, I was talking about your Carolina Panthers versus the Red Hot Washington Commanders.
You got semi-50.
Commanders are favored by 8 points against the god-awful Carolina Panthers. Can Carolina Panthers pull a major upset against the Red Hot quarterback in Daniels, Drew? Now, you guys, I was just looking at the rankings while you stepped away. You need the Commanders to lose this week.
I don't think they're going to lose. Not to the Panthers, but you know what? Washington is, they would do good, and then they have a letdown game against a team they shouldn't have a letdown game against. But yeah, I think they win against the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, that would be quite the upset, obviously. But Drew, I mean, yeah, this would be a great week to get up ahead of them, up in front of them against this team. But yeah, against Carolina Panthers, it seems unfathomable. Now, both of you guys come away with the wins. You guys stay in the same position of your ranking in the NFC East, right?
Yeah. Like I look at it like this. I said that they were going to be 9. They were going to be 8 and 9 before the season started. I still think they haven't played that many good teams. They only played 2 good teams, and he lost to both of them. So I don't know yet. I don't know. They may hit a wall.
They may very well. This brings us to the last game at 1:05 because the next game is going to be a big game for my team. LV Raiders here at 1 o'clock against the Los Angeles Rams. Drew, I've been reading Rams have been pretty banged up. Obviously, they did have a major upset victory over San Francisco 49ers. They're favored by 7. Raiders have given up Devontae Adams. They're going back and forth with the quarterback situation. Their team is not in a good place. And as I mentioned, Crosby could be traded before the end of the trade deadline. Be some shit. I don't expect any news on that between now and Sunday's game, Drew. But to the Raiders, I mean, this team is the Rams and them right now. They're kind of in the same place. Can the Raiders beat the LA Rams on this week?
This is a hard game to pick because they both are really not doing good.
Right.
They both are depleted. Raiders
are 2-4. Rams at the bottom of the NFC West with just 1 game over the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah. And they still got the Rams favored to beat the Raiders.
I don't know. I'll pick the Raiders to win this.
All right. You'd go with them as the upset. Like I said, the Rams are the favored. Yeah. I'm not sure who's coming back for the Rams, Drew. I would like that. I like what you're thinking. Hopefully the Raiders can pull it off. I'm going to go with the Raiders too. Excuse me, guys. All right, this brings us to the 1:25 p.m. game. It should be the Sunday night football game, but it's not. It's a repeat of the Super Bowl. I don't know what my plans are yet. Sometimes when games are really important, Drew, I like to just watch it at home in case, I like even for me, like even being amongst other Niner fans, in defeat, it sucks. It sucks. I may just get some really good food or cook at home for this Kansas City Chiefs rematch of the 49ers Super Bowl. A lot of things are happening, Drew, on the 49ers. One of our top receivers, Jennings, looks like he's going to be potentially out with a pretty serious hip injury. I know all about that. And I'm not even 50 yet. But very interesting. I brought up San Francisco earlier in the day, Drew. Downtown San Francisco, Ricky Pearsall's the number one draft pick for one of the top draft picks for the 49ers. Wide receiver, one of the fastest white boys I've ever seen on the 49ers. Rookie, hasn't yet played a game. He was shot. He was shot before the season. This is where San Francisco, my hometown, is. He's shopping in the downtown San Francisco and a gang member. And he wasn't even a San Francisco gang member, but it is a San Francisco gang. Apparently a gang member from Tracy, California, drove all the way to San Francisco to commit crimes that Saturday morning. And he managed to get the Rolex watch off of Ricky, and then Ricky fought the guy, the gangbanger. And both of them ended up getting shot with the same firearm. So after being shot in the chest, weeks later, he's back practicing, and with Jennings out with a potential hip injury, he may get his first start at wide receiver position against the greatest team in the NFL, I guess, the Kansas City Chiefs, other than my team. Your thoughts on that, Drew? On a rookie?
Crazy.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. But last week, because Mason was out, the running back who's replaced Christian McCaffrey got hurt. They also started a rookie, and he was kind of ridiculed on the internet because I'm talking about Guerendo from I believe he played for Kentucky in college. This guy is a freak athlete, but as a running back, he got his first. He did really, really good, Drew, but somehow he slid. He almost made a touchdown, like 90-yard return, and he slid like right before the goal line. It was very strange. People were like, even people on the 49ers team were kind of bashing on him. I think Deebo Samuel was shaking his head, making comments like, I don't know what that rookie was doing, but he was about to score. I have no idea why he slid. Nonetheless, he had a fantastic breakout first game for Guerendo at running back, and now we could see Ricky Pearsall, like I said, make his debut on the 49ers. But against a team as experienced as the Kansas City Chiefs, Drew, why do the Niners have so much problems with teams that do man coverage?
Because I don't think the receivers are good against man coverage receivers or good against physical receivers. I think they drive off zone coverage schemes. And I think it's been an Achilles heel playing man coverage against them.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you get more, it's more pressure on the offensive line. And it's going to take a lot more time to get the ball out of your hand. So, I just think it's a bad thing for Brock. He's not good against man coverage.
Hey, shout out to our boy Wiley Coyote in here. Yeah, Drew and I have done a couple of these for boxing. It's really hard because the big boxing channels get a lot of people on the watch parties. I do hope that we get a larger audience so we can start doing them again. And obviously there's a 49ers watch party that's on YouTube that I sometimes tune into, and they get hundreds and hundreds of people. It just seems so hard and competitive to do those live. And it's like, it takes the joy out of watching the game or the fight for me. But if our channel gets that big, guys, of course we're going to do that and invite people to hang out with us and watch games. That is ideal, and that is the goal. So Drew, let me just put up a couple of interesting notes here that I have about Purdy versus Mahomes. Brock Purdy has averaged twice as many air yards per attempt, 10.0, than Patrick Mahomes this season, 5.0. Purdy has averaged 9.8 air yards per completion compared to Mahomes, 3.6. Purdy has the lowest percentage of pass yards from, what is YAC in the NSL? Mahomes has the highest. Yards after completion, my bad. All this shit, all these statistics mean nothing when it's time to get the job done, Drew. So let me just quickly look. 49ers are somehow find themselves favored at just 1.5 points. Wow. Do we even have to ask Drew about my team? What he thinks about this weekend? 1.5 points is the favorite. Kansas City. Should I presume Drew is just going to take Kansas City to beat the spread?
No, I'm actually going to pick Kansas City win the spread. I actually put them on my parlay.
So you got Kansas City upsetting the 49ers according to the odds makers.
I don't think it's an upset. I think they're flat out the better team.
You think flat out they got it wrong this season. And mind you, it's a completely different season, but yet they still find a way, like the Kansas City Chiefs, to get the job done. They're 5-0. 49ers had a horrendous start in a way by losing to the Rams, blowing that game, and then blowing another game to the Cardinals. They really should be sitting on top of the division at 5-1. And it would look great. But like I said, Purdy really is playing better football than Mahomes this season, but it doesn't matter when they've got our number. I hope and pray the Niners win. This looks like an easy bet to bet Kansas City Chiefs for the upset and make some money. The over is 47 points, under is 47 points. But like a true diehard Niner fan, Drew, I am going for the Niners to beat the spread and win this game by a field goal. I hope. By the way, last week, our replacement kicker, speaking of field goals, he got hurt. So I don't even know what's the deal with him. He apparently got hit really hard on the shoulder in his first game. He did make all his kicks, although none of them were very long kicks. So, yeah, I'm excited. Shout out to all the Kansas City Chiefs fans. Shout out to the Niner Nation. Let's go. Bang, bang, Niner gang. That game starts at 1:25 p.m. Now, the last game on Sunday night, Drew, shocking. New York Jets now has, like we just mentioned it, they've been reunited. Davante Adams, the Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have made a huge quarterback change. Even though they've got a red-hot rookie, they are going with Russell Wilson, Drew. Is that what you heard?
Yeah, they're going to go with Russell Wilson.
New York Jets are favored now. They've got a wide receiver to throw the ball to. 1.5 points. Is Russell Wilson over the hill, man? The 49ers had so many epic games against Russell Wilson. He had our number. For a long time, it was the Niners versus the Seahawks, and we still hate the Seahawks. Is Russell Wilson washed up?
I think I think you should have kept on starting Justin Fields. I think, you're 3-2.
Winning record.
I think your defense is carrying you, and you can you'll become a physical team. And I don't know. I would kept on starting Justin Fields in case things got out of hand, because I think Russell Wilson is going to hold the ball too long. But I still think they beat the Jets.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to go with the Jets this time. They're favored by 1.5 points. I'm going to pick the Jets to somehow pull this off. Not that this game matters. It'll be interesting to watch this game just because Davante Adams, he's being reunited with someone he spent almost 8 seasons with. And speaking of quarterbacks, both of them Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Are they both over the hill? 40 years old, Aaron Rodgers with Davante Adams. This game's going to be fun to watch just because of that. It's like watching 2 champions in boxing over the age of 40 still boxing. It'll be very interesting. Now, Monday, we have a banger. We have 2 games on Monday Night Football. One of them promises to be excellent. And I think we were talking about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Drew, you said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Mayfield should be in the top QB power rankings. Ravens favored by 3.5 points.
You know what? Where's the game at? Is it in Tampa or is it in Baltimore?
Let me see location. Let me just quickly Google it. And it's interesting to say that because, like I said, they just lost the roof on the baseball stadium.
I'm going to have to pick Tampa. I'm going to have to pick Tampa Bay.
Are you serious? Let me see. Raymond James Stadium. Ravens confirmed Buccaneers schedule amidst rumors. Okay, the Ravens game will not be moved or postponed after Hurricane Milton ravaged the Tampa Bay area. All right, fortunately for the Buccaneers, their practice facility and Raymond James Stadium only sustained cosmetic damages in the storm. So the game will go on as planned, which is just like this weekend's boxing match in Orlando, in the Orlando area, Tim Zoo. That's going on just as planned, man. Who do you have winning this game?
Get your tickets for $1.
Yeah, tickets for $1. Who do you got winning this game?
I'm picking Tampa Bay. I got to go Tampa on this.
Now, Tampa Bay is favored by just 1.5 points. No, I'm sorry. Wait, whoa. Got this right. Ravens, Buccaneers. Ravens are favored. Any specific reason you think they're going to upset Ravens?
I think I think Ravens defense is not that good.
But Drew, that'll definitely be an upset. And if you're interested in making that wager, should pay you $110. Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, I gotta pick the Bucks.
All right, and there is another game on Monday night. That one starts at 6. The first one starting at 5:15 p.m. LA Chargers versus the Arizona Cardinals.
That's a Chargers. That's an easy one.
Chargers are favored by 2 points. Arizona Cardinals, what's crazy about the Cardinals is they can sometimes surprise a lot of people and play really decent football. They surprised the San Francisco 49ers, but other than that, they're usually really bad. So that seems to be an easy one to pick as well. The Cardinals would fall, they're 2-4, and the Chargers are 3-2.
Yep.
So easy one for you, Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers. I just don't think they're going to lose to the Cardinals.
So Chargers advance. They win this game. They go to 4-2. And should the Chiefs lose, they fall to 5-1. That starts to narrow the gap between the Chargers and the Chiefs. That certainly would be welcomed in my eyes. I would definitely welcome that. Definitely. That is the whole week. Once again, let me just put up this week slip, Drew. We'll go through these games really quickly in case anybody forgot. Sunday, New England versus Jacksonville. Drew, you picked Jacksonville. I picked New England on that one. Seattle versus Atlanta. Drew, you picked
Atlanta.
I pick Atlanta as well. Tennessee versus the Buffalo Bills. Drew, you picked Buffalo. Cincinnati versus Cleveland. Drew, you picked
Cincinnati.
I also picked Cincinnati. The Houston Texans versus the Green Bay Packers. That's going to be a hell of a game. Drew, you picked
Green Bay.
I'm going to pick Houston Texans on this one and CJ Stroud. Miami Dolphins. We didn't talk about this game, Drew. I apologize. Miami Dolphins versus Indianapolis Colts. I believe Colts are going to be playing Flacco. They should play Flacco. Who do you have?
I'm picking Indianapolis.
I do as well. Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings that are undefeated. I believe, Drew, you said Detroit, right?
Yep.
Detroit for the upset. Shout out Fonzie619. We're going to get to your team. All right, Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. Both Drew and I picked the Eagles. Raiders versus the Rams. Drew, you picked?
The Raiders.
I also picked the Raiders to upset the Rams. Maybe losing Devontae Adams will wake this team up. Maybe also potentially losing Crosby will give them some type of boost. Who knows? I've seen crazier shit. North Carolina versus the Washington Commanders. Drew, you picked?
Washington.
Both of us agree on Washington. Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco. There should be no surprise that Drew and I are split on this one. Drew, you picked?
Kansas City.
And I picked the Bang Bang Niner Gang. New York Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers with a quarterback change. Now going back to Russell Wilson. Drew, you pick?
Pittsburgh.
And I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers, former Cal Berkeley quarterback, now reunited with former Fresno State wide receiver Devontae Adams. I'm going to go with the Jets upsetting Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Monday night, Baltimore versus Tampa Bay, two really, really good football teams. This should be the best game next Monday. You got
Tampa.
And I got the Ravens. And finally, Fonzie619, shout out to everybody from San Diego. He says he's rooting for the Niners. Gracias. Just for that, LA Chargers versus Arizona, formerly the San Diego Chargers. Drew, who do you got?
Chargers.
Chargers, bolt up. That is the entire slip there for week number 7 of the NFL. Anything you want to talk about, Drew, this week in football?
No, they want it.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, no. I just put a parlay in, a 4-game parlay in, and hopefully, and I might put an over-under parlay in.
Yeah, I heard that. Well, listen, this game Sunday, the replay of the 49ers Super Bowl, it's a must-win game. You've got to get over this. One of the coaches said it's like having post-traumatic stress disorder playing the Chiefs. We got to beat this team for confidence. You got to be able to say you beat them. I'm looking forward to seeing if Ricky Parcells makes his debut at wide receiver for the 49ers. Tom Brady, officially now part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Will he get this haircut? Will he rock this haircut? Cincinnati Syndicate, what up? We're just wrapping up the show. Will, you'd like to wager, will Tom Brady be rocking this haircut on the sidelines? Oh, man. We talked about, obviously, very concerning. Well, the Chiefs have the referees in their pockets. They tried to paint this in Santa Clara, California. They tried to paint the end zone to say the refs instead of the Chiefs. And Devontae Adams, I mentioned that, man. Devontae Adams now reunited with his buddy. They're having sleepovers to catch up on all the plays, Drew.
Make sure the baby oil is not near him.
You think Devontae Adams scores a touchdown this weekend?
Probably not. Let's watch that baby oil now.
That's all we got, guys. Tailgate Talk.
Moments.
Tailgate Talk NFL Week 7. That's a wrap for Drew and I. We will be back Monday night to just talk about what happened in boxing. Tim Tszyu fight is on this Saturday. Don't miss that fight. That is for free on Amazon Prime. If you got Amazon Prime, turn it on your TV. Make sure you got the app going. You can watch that for free. Tim Tszyu going for the IBF 154-pound championship. I do have a video I'm finishing up, so please keep it locked. Turn on your notifications. I'm wrapping up a vlog right now that I'm going to try to make it released for Saturday afternoon potentially. So just to have one out there, man. I'm Dave in the 702 Philly Irish Drew Evo. Till next week. Peace out, everybody.